Hello, Augies Worldwide. And in this case, I mean it. We're taking a question from a Canadian ham. And if you are abroad, please feel free to submit your questions to askdave@arrl.org. Okay? So I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and today's question comes from François, Victor Echo 2, Charlie Echo Oscar. He says, "This is François from Magog, Canada. I really appreciate your videos. They're an excellent source of both information and inspiration. Thank you. I have a question about using antenna tuners with transceivers that include an automatic antenna tuner. The secret is if you're going to use an external tuner, tune the inside or built-in antenna tuner off. I mean all the way off so that it's completely bypass. It's in bypass mode. My setup includes a Zygo G90 transceiver, about a 20 watts if I believe correctly. I've got one right over there. And a 40-meter dipole with a ladder line feed, which I connect to my manual tuner in MFJ 941C. Since the MFJ 941C doesn't have a direct connection from the transceiver for a balanced transmission line, the signal needs to go through the tuner's network. I would suggest you'd have better results if you'd put a 9-to-1 impedance matching transformer either right where the twin lead or open wire feed line starts and then connected with coax. Remember, 50 to 450 ohms, the window line is 450 ohms. That's 9-to-1, okay? So put that in there, and then what the antenna tuner is seeing to tune is 50 ohms rather than the 450 ohms. A lot of tuners have a couple terminals on the back that allow you to connect a wire antenna. They have a 4-to-1 balun in there, which isn't all that is needed, but it really does help. When I try transmitting without using the G90's auto-tune function, I can't seem to get an SWR below 3, no matter what adjustments I do on the manual tuner. Remember to start in the middle with the inductor. Tune the inductor for max noise. Then, while receiving, tune the capacitors on either side for max noise. And then you should be close. You won't be right on, but you should be close, okay? However, if I engage the auto-tune on the G90, I get good results and can transmit without issues. The tuner in the G90 isn't really designed for that sort of thing because it's coax input, but I think your best bet is to get a little tuner that can take a balanced line input. My questions are, using the G90's auto-tuner on a signal that's already passing through my manual tuner's network affect the quality of my transmission? Yeah, there's going to be losses. You've got two antenna tuners stepping up to bat to hit the same ball. Okay, and just like in a baseball game, you can't have like a left-handed and a right-handed hitter facing each other, both trying to hit the same ball. Just one or the other, not both, okay? I can play at will with the manual tuner adjustments and then auto-tune the G90 again, but I'm uncertain if the setup is optimal. It is not. Do you have any insights or recommendations for this approach? Yeah. This right here is the oldest piece of MFJ equipment I own. I got this like 35 years ago. It's a tuner. Note what's on back. You've got transmitter, coax, and then some things here in the middle. You can do a random wire off of here. Now remember, the definition of a random wire is 2 or 3 wavelengths or more. Or you can put a jumper in right here, and now you've got 200 ohm output here, and this is what you attach your wire line to. A lot of antenna tuners have this on the back. Note this does not have a built-in SWR indicator. You can use the SWR indicator that's in the radio if you come across like something. Tune the inductor for max noise. And then go on either side over here and jockey these back and forth. So you'll pick like the antenna tuner, you'll tune it up to max noise, then you'll tune this one for max noise, then you'll readjust this one for max noise, readjust this one back and forth until you can't maximize it anymore. and then it's very close to being tuned. After that, you can transmit through it and do the tuning with the SWR meter. Again, usually by just slightly tweaking these. Once you've found the right band, like I know anytime I do 40 meters, it's setting D. I've had a lot of experience with this thing right here. I'm sending people to LDG for antenna tuners. Now, they're available widely. They've got a very good name, and you can get manual tuners from them, and you can get manual tuners from anybody else. Now, there is an equivalent to this that's a automatic tuner that I have, the MFJ 993B, which I swear by, does marvelous things. These are what are called wide range tuners. They'll tune an SWR up to 10 to 1. And you may say that's really cool, but if you have an antenna that has a 10 to 1 SWR, I really recommend that you fix the antenna so that it has much closer to a 3 to 1 or 2 to 1 SWR. Because what happens is if you send it out to an antenna that reflects most of it back, the reflection comes back and is held in a tune circuit in here. This thing's made capacitors and inductors. Okay, it holds it, and then when the next wave comes through, it adds that to that, and it goes out, and it comes back. And so you've got the same power transiting that transmission line all the time, enough to start heating the line, rather than heating the airwaves. Okay, so you want your transmission line to be no more than 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 out to the antenna. Best about 1.6 to 1 or better. It's real hard to tune a real dipole above real ground at realistic heights that amateurs can get them up to at an SWR that's less than 1.6 to 1. That is because antennas are reactive devices, and so no matter what you do, they're going to throw some of the power back. So ideally an antenna is a resistive device, but such things do not exist in practice except for my purely resistive antenna right there. This is my dummy load, and this has an SWR of 1 to 1. It's perfect match, perfect resistive match, and it all goes out as heat. So let me just warn you in passing that SWR is by far not the most important indicator of how well an antenna will perform. Performance is. So you can do a number of things, like right now I have the Arrl end-fed half wave, which has been extended to 80 meters. It's up at about 30 feet at each end out the back, and I tested it using my little nano VNA, nano vector network analyzer. I tested the thing and I thought, my goodness, this is low SWR. And then I connected it to my little network right here, which transmits on whisper. Okay, so this goes out direct to that antenna. And when I check whisper online, holy cow, the number of reception reports that I get is incredible. So, you know, the thing has very nice SWR. It was actually, to me, suspiciously low. Because if you try to tune a dipole and you get a 1 to 1 out of it, something's wrong somewhere. Because real antennas won't give you that. So anyway, there you go. A few comments about tuners with tuners. Best practice is use either or, but not both. Make sure that your antenna tuner has these kinds of things in the back. One of the statements that you made here, I just checked online. You said since the MFJ 941C doesn't have a direct connection from the transceiver for balanced transmission line. It does. I just looked it up online. It's got these little thingies on the back. Okay, so connect that up for the balanced line, and you'll save yourself an awful lot of trouble. Don't make the tuner try to tune something it doesn't need to. Use the red connectors on the back for your open wire line. Okay, so the bottom line here is don't put two antenna tuners in series. What you can end up doing is one tuner is trying to tune the other one, and you'll end up with a lot of back and forth between the two tuners that can also heat the coax. Just one tuner will do the job. That is, in almost all modern cases, 2 capacitors and 1 inductor. Some antenna tuners have just the inductance and the capacitor, and if it doesn't work, you flip them around and get it to work. That works too, but I'd rather have it this way. It's less work. So there you have it. If you would like to help support this channel, become a member. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Until we next meet, 73.